I'm Anthony. I've been playing poker for a living since 2019. Hit that intro.
Don't soul roll me if you get quad fours, man.
You folded king, king, jack, jack? You owe me $350. Your money should be in there too.
Did you bluff me?
Would I ever bluff?
I'm leaving that shit. I'm on
No,
tilt.
it's on tilt. Thank you, sir. I would not lie to you, sir. I told you I had a full house. Doing the Lord's work. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
The $10 straddle has been posted, and there's one caller and a raise to 45. I'm in the hijack, and I look down at double-suited aces, ace, 9-4, and clubs and hearts. I announce pot, making it 160. The player on my left on a short stack pushes her stack forward for 125. Now the short stack in the small blind says, well, that gets me in, and he shoves all in for exactly 160. Now the straddle cold calls all of this action, and the original raiser calls as well. Folding does not exist in this dojo, does it? No, baby! The flop is pretty favorable, falling 7-6-3 with two clubs, giving me the nut flush draw, an overpair, and I have cards that block many of the straight draws. When it checks to me, I bet the pot of 775. The straddle calls all in for 310, the original raiser folds, and we agree to run it twice.
Twice is nice with me, guys. Whatever you guys want to do. Twice, okay?
Whatever y'all do.
Twice?
Yeah.
All right, I got aces and not a flush draw.
Do you have enough left for
Yeah. Not necessarily.
Unfortunately, both runouts are less than favorable, coming 8-9 of diamonds to put a 4-card straight and a 3 flush on the first board, and then 5-7 of hearts pairing the board and bringing in potential straights. The straddler on the side pot turns over ace, queen, jack 3, suited in diamonds to his ace. Pre-flop against just his hand, I'm a 2-1 favorite. On the flop, I jump to a 3-1 favorite, so this guy is just trying to give me all the money, but he gets bailed out on the first run out, giving him running diamonds. If I had just ran once, he scoops me completely. But wait, the pain is not done, not by a long shot. Let's see what other peaches these fine Texas gamblers have up their sleeves. The short stack in the blinds turns over 8-7-2-2, suited in clubs to his 8, giving him a turn set on the top board and 3 sevens on the second board to beat my aces up. And the other short stack turns over Jack 10-6, suited in diamonds to her 10, giving her a straight fucking flush. This is a fantastic equity scenario for me, as two of my opponents get their stacks in with dominated pairs. Always a great spot when you have aces. So 4 ways pre-flop, when the majority of the money goes in, I have close to 37% equity. 2 players have under 20%, 1 has under 25%. After the flop, I have almost 39% equity 4 ways. 2 opponents still have under 20%, and the third around 23%. And somehow I managed to only get half of the side pot back and none of the main pot. There's 2 callers, and I'm in the cutoff with ace, jack 3, suited in diamonds to my jack. I just call. The button and small blind call, and now the big blind makes it 35. The same player who went fucking nuts the last hand, holding 8-7 deuce. There's one call, I potted to 150. Now the lady Miss Jack 10-6, who made the straight flush last hand, calls both raises. I'm playing with some real genius this year. The original raiser is all in for 120 total. The hijack calls, and we're going 4 ways to a flop with 1 player all in. The flop falls queen 5 rainbow. When it checks to me, I bet the pot since my opponents are all shorter stacked. They both fold. My all-in opponent has a legit hand turning over king, queen jack. We agree to run twice, and it's a good thing I got the cold caller on my right out as he announces, ooh, I would have hit the 5 ball, as the first board comes 5-8. The second board comes 2-10, and I managed to win the small $90 side pot, but I lose the much larger main pot as the player in the blinds manages to quadruple up this hand. So, while I can't fault my opponent for getting his stack in with a very good hand, once again as a 2-1 favorite, I take the loss. The $10 straddle is on, there's 1 caller, and I'm on the button. I look down at king 9-6 with no suits. I call, the small blind folds, the big blind calls, the straddle checks, and we're going 5 ways to a flop. I work in mysterious ways, bitches! Well, it's about fucking time. I flopped the nut full house with a flop of king 10-10 rainbow, losing only to quad 10s. When everyone checks to me on the button, I check it back. I need someone to catch up or to think their slow play 10 is good. The turn is the 5 of hearts. 1 player bets 30. I call, and now the lady in the big blind calls as well. We love to see it. The river is the 4 of clubs. The lady checks the original bettor, who now leads for 120. I announce pot, making it 495. This guy is either bluffing his ass off or he likes his hand and will pay me off, and if so, I want to get paid the maximum. He quickly folds, so likely had nothing, and I take it down.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, kids. Do you like violence?
I'm under the gun, and oh joy, I look down at aces again. They've done so well for me all night, I'm sure nothing will go wrong in this hand. I call, there's 2 callers behind me, and now some gambling knucklehead who can't help themselves juices the pot to 25. There's 2 callers, although the small blind does fold. I drop the motherfucking hammer, because that's what we do, raising pot to 140. As usual, I get tons of respect with Miss Call Everything, cold calling on a very short stack. The original raiser shoves all in for 170. Now the cutoff cold calls 170. The big blind manages to find the fold button. Fuck these a-holes. The flop comes ace 6-2 with 2 spades. When it checks to me, I pot for 730. The short stack lady folds with crumbs left. The other player is all in for $70 more. Unfortunately, one of the all-in knuckleheads only wants to run at one time. Let's go to the run out. The turn is clean, the queen of diamonds. Fuck this bitch. The river falls the 3 of hearts. All in all, a pretty safe board for top set.
This should be me. If it's not me, I will be very upset.
I thought about trying to hunt down the aces again, but
Don't do it. Don't slow roll me. Huh? Oh, do you want to be on video? All right, here we go. I'm going to get slow rolled for the vlog.
11 a.m. flight. 11 a.m. flight.
He's got the 4-5. How does he have the 4-5? King 8 of spades, 4-5 of clubs.
Walk out the door, you see someone that you know and they ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Jesus, fuck!
There's 2 callers, and in the cutoff, I look down at ace 10, 4-3, suited in diamonds to my ace. Generally speaking, 2 of my side cards are absolute shit in the 4 and 3. As with them, I'll make a lot of non-nut straights, 2 pair or full house combos. Still, I'm in a later position at the table with a nut suit, and the 10 at least works with my ace to make Broadway, so hopefully if I can get in and see a cheap flop, it'll be worth it. Fortunately, no one goes nuts, and we're going 5 ways to a flop. Here you go, homie. The flop is ace-ace-3 with 2 hearts. I've flopped the nuts, but can I get paid and avoid getting outdrawn? Everyone checks to me, and I decide to bet the pot, partly because these guys don't like to fold, but also partly because I'm just feeling unlucky, given the beats this session, and I dread being outdrawn. The small blind is the only caller. Poker Jesus about to nut all over this bitch! The turn is the 10 of hearts. Once again, I've gone from the nuts to the nuts. The small blind checks. I bet pot again, putting out 75, and they finally give it up.
Do you want the ace and the 3 or the ace and the 10? I just want the small pots. I don't want to win the big pots. All right, thank you. Finally.
Reflecting on this hand, I have allowed tilt to affect my play. I should be trying to squeeze value out of my opponent since only 3 cards can potentially ruin my day on the river. I should be betting less on the turn or even checking back so my opponent thinks I'm worried about the 10 and it emboldens them to bet the river into me. Okay, aces have been doing me dirty all night. Let's play ourselves a suited rundown from under the gun. Queen Jack 10-7 suited in clubs to my jack. 2 callers behind us. The small blind and big blind call. We're going 5 ways to a flop. Watch me whip, watch me nay-nay, bitches! The flop is King Jack 9 Rainbow. I bet 25 and a lady in late position calls. The turn is the 5 of clubs, completing the rainbow board. I bet pot again of 75, and again she calls. The river is clean, the 6 of clubs. I again go for max value, betting 225. This time she folds. I guess I could go for a smaller milky bet of something like 80 that will cause her curiosity to force her to call with something like 2 pair, given the pot size and odds, but I don't know. How would you guys play this river? Let me know in the comments down below. The deuce of spades has been exposed, and there's 2 callers. In the cutoff, I look down at ace-ace 10-8. Double suited in spades and clubs, I just call and we wind up going 5 ways to a flop. The flop is Jack 3-2 with 2 diamonds. One player bets the pot of 30, I make the call, and we're heads up. The turn is the 9 of diamonds, bringing in the front door flush, which I don't block. We both check. The river is the 5 of clubs, and again we both check. Imagine my surprise when my opponent announces a set of 9s as he turns over Jack 996 suited in hearts to his jack. Pre-flop, I have close to 70% equity against his hand. On the flop, I'm up to 75%, but he manages to find the miracle. Fortunately, it doesn't cost me an arm and a leg.
Set 9.
What is it?
Set 9.
Set of 9s? Oh, yeah. That's what they got me with. All right.
I raised to 15 and the cutoff, holding queen, 10-3 suited in clubs to my queen. Both blinds defend. The flop is 8-4-3 with 2 hearts, and we all check. The turn is the ace of spades. When it checks to me, I bet the pot of 45 as I've been showing aces all night. Only the small blind makes the call. The river is the 9 of diamonds. I continue telling my story, betting the pot of 135.
We got the bluff through, boys. All right, we're bluffing with the best hand. All right, there we go. Boom.
So despite the extreme amount of pain I suffered throughout this episode, I did only manage to lose $719 at the end of the session, which feels like a win given the amount of beats I was taking and the huge multi-way all-in pots that I just kept getting crushed in. But I do appreciate you guys tuning in, but hang on because we're not done. I have some viewer comments that are going to be coming up next, and then I have some bonus footage from a number of poker tournaments that I've been playing recently and cashing in. So check that out, and we will see you guys in the next episode. Viewer Andrew Rules 3 commented, "Man, you deserve a lot more subs than what you have. I would not be using GTO in Texas, LOL. Mofos are just too wild here." Thanks, Andrew. I really appreciate you taking the time to comment. I would love more subscribers, and unlike some other vloggers, I'm not going to buy fake subscribers and views to try to pump up my numbers. It's been a grind, but I did just break over 2,000 subscribers, which is still small potatoes, but feels really cool to me. Viewer Brian Moore 2991 left me the nicest comment I've ever received. It's a lengthy one, but it hit me right in the feels. Brian said, "I found your vlog by accident a few weeks ago when you linked it from Reddit. I started from the beginning and I watched every single video and liked every one of them. It took me weeks to do this, but I am finally caught up. Thanks for having the stones to vlog live PLO videos. It can't be easy, and I know it takes a lot of work to do this. You've got a great attitude and you are legitimately funny. I don't know how you deal with the swings in PLO, especially with the craziness of Texas players. Nothing but respect. I can't imagine playing poker for a living, especially PLO. I'm too risk averse, but I do love the game and I love to play at low stakes. I also appreciate the fact that you aren't afraid to play mixed games and vlog them as well. I agree with you that Hold'em is boring, and I've been learning to study and play the mixed games. Wouldn't hurt my feelings if you vlogged more of them. You're extremely lucky to have access to so much poker. I'm in Georgia, and there is nowhere to play except home games and free bar poker. I just wanted to thank you for the vlog, and hope you keep it going. Well done, sir." Brian, the support from viewers like yourself really makes this all worthwhile at the end of the day. It's a grind to put out this content, but knowing that there's so many of you out there appreciating it keeps me motivated to keep putting it out each week. So thank you for taking the time to watch my videos and leave such a nice comment. Recently, I've had some success in a number of tournaments and wanted to share those with everyone as well. I played the weekly PLO tournament at the Lodge. I managed to get my 5th final table in the 8 times I played it. Here's some footage from a key triple up where I flopped the nut flush and I got action from a set and 2 pair and held. All right, we are all in here at the Lodge, playing the PLO free roll. We're up against the set. We got Queen 9 over here. We got a 6 blocker. That's the flop. We got the nuts. We got lots of blockers. We just got to avoid the board pair. We're the shortest stack. And we triple up.
Side pot?
Anyone's a side pot. One key hand down to the final 2 tables had me see a flop of Jack 10-5, and when it was checked to me, I held Jack 10-10-8. I bet 30K, then a player in the blinds check raised me to 120K. I only had him covered by 100K total, so it was going to be a significant pot if I went with middle set and a blocker to top set. I expected my opponent to show up with a strong wrap straight draw when I called, but I was actually in amazing shape when he turned over pocket 5s for bottom set, and he was drawing virtually dead, which allowed me to chip up significantly. Then on the final table bubble, I found myself a key double up in this hand. All right, we're on the final table bubble of the PLO tournament here.
We're all in. I got to dodge an 8 or clubs.
Or a
All
4.
right, we get the double up. No, I got 2 pair.
I know, I'm joking.
Okay.
I already had 2. Didn't matter.
In the money 7-handed, I had the chip lead of over 2 million, with less than 6 million chips in play. We were all discussing doing an ICM chop. One player at the table had run the numbers, then he called the floor all the way over from the front of the house. But then as soon as the floor arrived, this same player decided he had changed his mind and he didn't want to do an ICM chop, so play continued. After one other player was busted, we again discussed an ICM chop, but this time I had dropped to second in chips, so I had to settle for $300 less, but still got a nice score having paid $245 to play and cashing for $1,600 in second place. I also played a $55 buy-in 5K guaranteed PLO 8 tournament on ACR where I was dangerously close to bubbling, which has happened to me more times than I'd like on this damn site. However, Poker Jesus was smiling down on me as I not only survived the bubble, but I managed to fight my way into the top 4. However, the maniac on my immediate left continued to be rewarded for his bad play as he opened under the gun with Queen 7-6 deuce. The button cold called the raise with Ace Jack 10-3 double suited, and from the big blind I ripped it in with Ace 8-5 single suited in nut clubs. The maniac repotted trying to isolate me but failed, and I managed to flop top set plus a gutshot wheel draw, giving me almost 50% equity 3 ways. But somehow, despite both opponents having backdoor diamonds and me having the ace blocker, running diamonds came to wreck my world and send me packing in 4th. The only saving grace was that the maniac managed to bust out in 3rd, despite his monster stack. But we're not finished. Your boy Poker Jesus is no one-trick pony. I beast everything. I played my first ever Jeff Boski daily double on ACR with a 10K guarantee, a no-limit hold'em tournament, and out of 1,446 entrants, managed to fight my way deep into this large field, eventually busting out in 47th place.
You know, after watching a video like this, sometimes I'll like it, sometimes I'll leave a comment, and sometimes I'll subscribe. Sometimes I'll even do all 3.